So it's pretty exciting to have a party that's so strong and such a strong base and a foundation that gets said a lot, but I like the sound of it, and it keeps meaning something new for me with personal responsibility, individual freedom, respect, and fairness. I think that really sums it up and really gives us something to build off of, and the policies build off that, so we know we have somewhere strong to stand from. And when we have a prime minister right now who forgets who we are as Albertans and skips us, that can't stand. And we have our other option, the fake conservative, as some call him. Andrew Scheer comes out with a climate plan that can out-green the Greens and out-Trudeau the Liberals, is also something that we need to stand against and really show our values and spread them out there, because we have the strongest platform, and we're going to show that over the next few months. So I look forward to meeting a lot of you and in Edmonton, Wetaskiwin. So I'll leave it at that, and thanks a lot, and have a great night.
Now up, Galavan, Yellowhead.
Thank you, everyone. Doug Galavan from the Yellowhead riding. How I got into this was mostly started from my participation in Rally Canada. So we've been fighting tooth and nail for not just the energy industry per se, because that was just the main target of the campaigns that have been put against our Western Canada economic interests. So that was kind of my start into this, and this is just a continuation of that fight. I've had to resign from that because that was nonpartisan, because we had to be able to attack anybody's policies or support anybody's policies. But the truth is there's no one else's policies that are even close. So it was a no-brainer for me to step into this. The other big thing, of course, is the freedom of speech issue. Well, being a rally, you have to have your freedom of speech, otherwise you've got nothing. So we cannot, as a group, individuals, we can't address any of the crisis that is happening in our country if we don't maintain freedom of speech, and it is under assault. So that's the huge motivator part, but let's talk about, as we implement these policies, what is that actually going to mean to Canadians? We're going to see more wealth in their pockets. We're going to see more security. We're going to see them flourish under these policies. That's the bottom line. It's not a policy of this or a policy of that. It's what it does to these families in our communities. They're hurting, and especially here, and they're going to be hurting in other parts because they've been kind of protected by the borrowing and by the quantitative easing that's gone on. So they're kind of living in a bubble world. And when that comes down, these policies are going to be required by all of this country. So the fight that's here is the fight for everyone, whether they know it or not. So anyway, all I can say is thank goodness we've gotten Maxime to do what he's done. See you on the campaign trail if you're in Yellowhead.
Next up, Kelly Lorencz from Calgary, Nose Hill.
How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Give you a little bit of my background. I'm a veteran, Special Forces, and just finished 10 years federal corrections, maximum security, medium, and minimum. So I have quite the background to help support Max. I'm not going to talk about everything else here. Right now, I'm representing Michelle Rempel's former riding. It's not. So I hope you're all excited as I am. I've had the opportunity to spend the last week with Max. You have to get excited. This man is Canada's hope. He really, really is. So spread the word, get excited, and tell everybody that you know to come and see this man and hear what he has to say, because you'll be fired up, because I know I am. Thank you.
Okay, now he doesn't know that I'm going to do this. Hold on, Paul. Hold on. Ron Vaillant from Prince George, Peace River, Northern Rockies. Get up here and share your story.
Hello everyone, I'm the guy behind the camera. If you want to see the videos, just look me up. Go PPC space Ron V as a search, and I've got the official People's Party of Canada YouTube channel. I grabbed it because I didn't want anyone else to grab it, and I saw that they didn't have it, so I had to get it. So anyhow, people think it's the official channel. But anyhow, 1 year ago for me, I thought Canada was done for. Everything was going upside down. You say, what in the world's going on? And I thought, what has to happen is the people have to rise up somehow and get organized to take on the corrupt political establishment that's taken over our country. And when I heard about Maxime Bernier because I heard that there was the conservative leadership race that happened previously a year before. And I listened to it and everything else. I listened to Andrew Scheer for a minute or two, and I paused and I said, oh, may God help Canada, is what I said. Yeah, just another one of those, you know. And then, who's this other guy, this Maxime Bernier guy? And I watched him for a minute, and that's it, right there. And I've been watching it all this time, and what can I say? We have a golden opportunity now to save Canada. And we are the people here who are on the right side of history. So we have to get involved, see what we really have here, and take the initiative. And once people know about it, they get on side. Once they get past this, well, don't split the Conservative vote. Well, it's Andrew Scheer who split the Conservative vote. He didn't use any of Maxime's policies after 1 year, and he totally shut him down. What's Maxime supposed to do? Go back into private life? No, he didn't. He was bold and courageous, and I think he's really risking his life to do what he's doing. I think we all are, actually, because we're going against the establishment that rules this country. It's a big deal. And I had to really take pause whether I wanted to go into the crosshairs. So here we are. We're going out all out. So we need your help. We need financial support, and we need boots on the ground. And we can actually win this thing because it's an exponential growth we're going to go into now. We're polling low because they have their polls, but it's also 9 out of 10 people don't know about us. And when you tell them about it, they get educated a little bit, and you show them the platform, they go, oh, that's pretty interesting, but don't want to split the vote again, right? But the thing of it is that we're drawing people from the Liberals, the NDP, and also the disenfranchised. We're going to rock this fall election. So thank you all for coming out, and we're going to go and save Canada. You're on the right side of history tonight.
Next up, more local to the Red Deer Rockies, Paul Mitchell, Red Deer, Mountainview.
Thank you very much. So just in case you don't know whether you're in Red Deer or Mountain View, I'm the south part of Red Deer, down past Carstairs, and then over to Cremona, up to Sundre, and then back again. And plus Delburn, so don't forget about Delburn. I'll be answering questions after the event because I want to keep this short so we can get to Max. And we're going to go to the Radisson Lounge. So you can rake me over the coals, ask me anything, and I will answer questions for you. So back in the 90s, I was with the Reform Party, and including many years on Parliament Hill with a fantastic Member of Parliament, Bob Mills, Member of Parliament for Red Deer. And in the Reform Party, we believed in grassroots conservatism. And so I will represent you in Ottawa. I'm not here to cram Ottawa's agenda down your throat and tell you to like it. That's not okay. I will work with Max's office to try and bring your ideas to Ottawa. And that way, we can turn grassroots good ideas into PPC action. We're not going to go to Ottawa to replace the Conservative Party. We're going to go to Ottawa to replace the entire system, which is rotten to the core. It's a rotten structure, and when you have a rotten structure, you don't just paint it Andrew Scheer light blue and call it fixed. That doesn't work. You need to tear out what's rotten and rebuild properly. That's what we're all about. We're for individual freedom, personal responsibility, fairness, and respect, and you can believe that. We will fight for the freedom of all Canadians, we will treat them equally, and we will end identity politics in this country. While we're at it, we'll impose pipelines if necessary, make equalization fair for all provinces, and that includes Alberta, of course. We're going to slash taxes, balance the budget, pull out of all UN commitments, and put Canadians first. We're going to do that and a whole lot more. All it takes is for you to spread the message. The time is now, not 4 years from now, not 8 years from now, or never. On October 21st, 2019, we can reclaim our Canada. We can kick out Justin Trudeau and storm the gates of Parliament Hill. A Canadian grassroots army. You will not be disappointed. We will never back down. We will never surrender, come what may. For all Canadians, we will fight and we will win. So join us. Volunteer today, tell everyone, and you can save Canada. Thank you.
And last but certainly not least, Lynn Thompson, Red Deer Lacombe.
Thank you. Some of you have already heard my story. I want to tell you that I'm not a real politician, so I'll probably be a lot more honest once I get to Parliament. But that was a joke. 2 years ago, let me tell you very briefly that I was living the perfect life. I had 2 national television shows. I was speaking across the nation and North America and even internationally. I was an author and I was enjoying life, and I thought we lived in the perfect Canada and that my life sailing into eternity would be absolutely set, and I was deliriously happy. And something happened. I got my eyes opened. There was a lady, she came and she told me that they're starting to teach this gender fluidity in kindergarten, and that they had dozens and dozens and dozens of transgender books with kids. And I said, that can't be true. And I told somebody else, and they said, I haven't heard of that. I don't think that can be true. And so I said, well, why don't we talk to someone else? We talked to a lady who had been studying it. She had the proof. And so I invited her to come and be on my television show. So we put it onto my Facebook, and we invited the whole community, because after all, aren't we a free nation that can just talk about it? Aren't we that group? I don't know. I don't know. A lot of shutdown of free speech. So once I put it out onto the Facebook, the place where we were going to tape the show, it was $1 million facility. It was a church in Langley, British Columbia. They called me and they said, Lynn, we've got a big problem. You can't come because we've got some activists, and they say that they are going to protest, they're going to bring the media, and they are going to shut you down, and they're calling you terrible names. I said, but that's not true. I'm just trying to defend little kids, you know, and some beliefs that I have, that human dignity and human sexuality is actually, you know, given to us. And I have those core beliefs, and I'm just wondering about what's going on. And so they said, well, you know what, you just can't do it here. We can't handle the trouble. And I had to decide at that moment if I would cave in, if I would shut up, if I would bow to social and political correctness. And I decided at that moment I would not bow. And so we called a school. And we said, can we do a meeting there and, you know, shoot a little show? And I put it on Facebook, hey, everybody come to the school. What better place to talk about curriculum than at a school, right? Yeah. Well, we got to the school. We never actually made it. They called us and they said, listen, you can't do that. You are a homophobe and a transphobe. And I said, that's not true. I have friends. And I'm very loving. I am not a homophobe or a transphobe. I am just wanting to talk about. I just want to have free speech to be able to say that there's something going on in our nation that I think that the public would like to talk about, because I happen to believe that millions and millions of Canadians are in agreement with me. And I just think we should be able to talk about it. They said, no, you're not going to do it here. So what we did was I finally figured out I'm super popular. I mean, I did have a couple thousand, followers, but I was getting more and more popular with every day. They started, following me. Wow, in record numbers. And so we decided what we do is we do a meeting. We wouldn't tell anybody where we were holding it, but we let them know it was 7 o'clock somewhere in the Langley vicinity. And you know what? Just let God tell you where we are, because that's the only way you can find us. So we got into the building, we set up the chairs, and then we put it out on my Facebook. This is where we are. Well, the protesters found us, and also 300 people, so that we could have the first underground meeting in Canada that I never thought we'd have to have. And so we talked about it that night, and we got written up in the papers. And when I got home that night, I looked on the live Facebook feed. I had 14,000 people tuned in. I was like, I am so popular. And then me and my husband were looking, I go, 14,000 views, wow. And then I started going through the comments, and they were kind of bullying and mean and nasty, and saying a whole bunch of things about me that were not true. And I had to decide something. If I would bow. And I decided I would not bow. And so the next thing that happened is I was socially terrorized, and I really do mean that. They called my work, they called the CRTC requesting that I would never be allowed to be on the air in Canada. They called Vision TV, Joy TV, and all the advertisers for the shows that I was on. I had to decide if I would bow, and I decided I would not bow. I had a conversation, thank you. I'll wrap it up very quickly because some of you already know my story, but I will tell you that I had a transsexual contact me and let me know that my messaging was all wrong and wanted to help me. This person is now running for Member of Parliament and would like to be in the NDP party, going to our Parliament. And we had some discussions and I said, could we have an agreement that you get to live any way you want? You know, in Canada, you can be gay, sexual, polyamorous, pansexual. I didn't know what that meant. I looked it up. Go ahead. And so you can do all of that. You can be anything you want, but can we have an agreement that we will leave each other's children alone and that we will honor parental rights in Canada, which is actually given to us by the UN. I don't think that's a typical request, but apparently it was. They kept calling my work. Finally, my work said, how long do you think you're going to be fighting against this gender fluidity thing? And I said, well, how long are they going to be telling our little boys that they can be a girl inside their head? And I said, I got to fight. I got to stand. Who will stand? And so the next thing that happened was, I know, okay? All right, I got to hurry. Apparently, you're all waiting for Max. All right. I'm going to quickly tell you that my work let me go in the nicest way. They said, we love you, we stand with you, we believe in what you're doing, but we don't think that we can stand up for this, like it's not our calling. And I had to decide, and when I went to my hotel that room, if I would bow or if I would stand, and I decided that I would not bow. And so today, I understand in Canadian politics that what we're actually dealing with is a crisis in our nation. We're dealing with ideologies that have been set up in the land, and we're told that if we speak against it, that we're going to get perhaps imprisoned, we're going to have human rights tribunals put against us. I then decided I would run in politics. You know what I did? I signed up for the Conservative Party of Canada, the party I had voted for my whole life, the party I felt represented us. But I found out something. In the 2 ridings that I tried to run for them, I was too much trouble. They said I spoke, too controversially, and they didn't want to stand for the grassroots party. And I said, well, then who will stand? I will not bow. And finally, after being rejected by that party and writing an impassioned letter, I said, are you not the party that stands for the social conservatives? Are you not the party that stands for the grassroots people and the children? I will not bow. I thought it was hopeless. I was going to have to run as an independent because I knew I had to stand. I knew that some stuff was going on. And then somebody said, hey, have you heard about Maxime Bernier? And I said, the French guy? Can any of us truly trust a Frenchman? And I only knew one thing. He'd put out a tweet. And that tweet, when I read it, sent shivers down my back. He said he declared political correctness dead in Canada. I said, I'll talk to that guy. And I talked to him, just for a few minutes. He explained, Lagalen. What is this, soji? And so I explained to him. And you know what? He said, send me your resume. And he took the biggest chance of all times. He ran a candidate that the Conservatives would not run. And that's going to be their biggest mistake, let me tell you. Because I represent you, I will not be silent. And when Maxime defended me on CTV, I know I'll be silent soon. Okay. So when he went on CTV and CBC and he had to defend me, I knew that was the leader. That is the hope for our nation. That is the man who will stand for us. I'll now turn over the mic to somebody else. Thank you for voting for me. Thank you.